Hello, Scorpio family. Welcome. Welcome to the video. I want to share with you some secrets that I read about. Actually, yesterday I came across in the writings of Rabbi Isaac Luria. And we know the Ari, as he is known, lived almost 500 years ago. But he is the definitive Kabbalist, at least the closest to our generation, that formulated the way that we could actually learn and understand Kabbalah in our generations. He was the seed level. So I'm reading from one of the sections here where he is, it's actually in the Bible portion of this week, Shemot, which relates to the names, all the names that relate to the Exodus, the 72 names of God, because the book of Exodus is not actually Exodus. It doesn't mean Exodus at all. It means names, the book of names. The second book of the Bible is called the book of names, not Exodus. Okay, anyway, I just put up a video on the other channel, or will be soon, about that and about the power of your name. So go to the other channel, Rabbi Abe channel, and you can check that out. But over here, he says, he's explaining about the different constellations. Some of it I'm sure you're aware of because it's common understanding, but he's revealing some secrets over here. I'll read because the reading gives us a connection. I read in the Hebrew and we'll translate, all right? V'yadua hu כי הי"ב מזלות מתחלקים לד' יסודות, כל ג' מהם כנגד יסוד אחד. So he says, we know, and it's understood, that the 12 constellations, the 12 signs of the Zodiac are divided into four foundations or four elements, which we know, right? The element which he's referring to is air, water, fire, and earth, okay? We don't need the Kabbalists to tell us this, but I mean, we understand that, right? In part because of the ancient Kabbalists. Kol gimel mehem ukeneged yesod echad. And they are each one divided also into three categories. So each sign has three, right? So So he says, he gives an example. Taleh, Aries, is from fire. V'akrav misod mayim. But Scorpio is from water. She'en ha'akrav horeg adam ela mirov krirut shebo. Okay, now we're getting to the Scorpios. He says, a Scorpio is from the foundation or the element of water, and therefore that a Scorpio won't kill an individual only from its intensity of cold, the intense coldness that it has within it. And כל אחד מזין כוכבי לכת שיש שני מזלות אלא חמה ולבנה שאין להם אלא אחד אחד. He says, yes, and all of the 7 primary planets are attached to 2 constellations, with the exception of the sun and the moon, which are attached only to 1. So we also know that. ובמאדים שולטים שני מזלות. And Mars, we know, you already know what he's going to say, controls 2 constellations, טלה ועקרב, Aries and Scorpio. ולכן היו שוחטים טלה ביוד ד' בהיות המזל בתוקפו. Now, he says, Aries is very significant here. Okay, Aries is significant because it's also ruled by Mars, and that for that reason, in ancient times, what did they do? They slaughtered the Aries, or the ram, okay? And this was the ram being slaughtered, also the Passover sacrifice. Why? Because the ram is known to be the animal, and every animal has certain characteristic. The animal itself is known as the desire for the self alone, the selfishness. And therefore the god in Egypt was called Ra. Now Ra in Hebrew literally means evil. They are the initials Resh and Yud, which stands for ratzon atzmi, the desire for oneself, selfish desire. And that's what's considered evil, according to the Kabbalah. Evil, desire only for yourself. Well, that could be any of us, right? Would you call someone who worries too much an evil person? No. But if you will suffer from worrying too much, right? If you're too much of a control freak, will you suffer from that? Yeah, you will. Eventually you will. You wouldn't call that an evil person. So the Kabbalah classification, again, evil doesn't mean, bad person. No, we can be perfectly innocent, but not understand and not be able to control certain desires. Maybe I overeat. Maybe I overindulge here, there, whatever. Does that mean I'm a bad person? No. But Ra is desire for myself. When it's only a desire for myself, when it's self-serving, this will lead us, unfortunately, to become disconnected. And that's the main point. It's a disconnect. That's the point. So the god of Egypt was called Ra. It was represented by the ram, which they made a god because they did get their power from the negative side. And so the remedy was given in the Passover to sacrifice this ram and mix the blood together with the blood of circumcision, which I won't get into the secrets of the circumcision. And then they used it as an antidote. Whatever they did with it, they used this as an antidote against death, no less than death. Now, these are all coded secrets, but that was the meaning of death passed them over. It meant being in control of negative forces, including death, which was meant for us, by the way, all of us. And we are also meant to reach that stage again. I hope this isn't crazy talk, but that's according to the Kabbalah. Okay, getting back to our story over here. So he says, and this is the reason why they sacrificed it on the 14th day of Aries. They made this sacrifice. They were given this sacrifice to take control the Aries, meaning the forces, not the animal. V'hine elu hashne mazalot. Now these two constellations, these two signs, meaning Aries and Scorpio, yesh bet Gehenom. There are two hells, H-E-L-L, hell, okay? Two types of hell. What does that mean? Gehenom shel esh, there is something called the hell of fire. Gehenom shel sheleg, and the hell of snow. In other words, hot and cold, fire and ice. Oh, where have we heard that before? Fire and ice. Keneged akrav, which is shehu מתחמס לעבור עבירה ויש גיהנום של שלג כנגד הקרב. This hell of snow or ice is not against, but rather connected to the akrav, to the Scorpio, שהוא כנגד המקרר ועובר על מצוות עשה. What does it mean? It means this level of negativity is connected to Scorpio, which is the source of negativity when we don't do things that we should do, positive actions that we don't do. That's what it says. Very strange. שהוא בעצלות יושב בשב ואל תעשה, which has its root in laziness. What does that mean? Root in laziness. כי הרשעים אף בפתחה של גיהנום הם פושעים שגוזלים השלג כשהם בגיהנום של שלג. It says something very interesting. It says that when a person is evil, when a person is really selfish, when he lived in his life here, he's also selfish at the gates of hell because he also tries to steal the ice of hell. What does that even mean? Okay. So let's understand. And there are secrets here, okay? There are secrets, but I can't help. It's funny. So it's telling us about the nature of negativity. Of course, it's not only for Scorpio or Aries, but we need to understand the power of Scorpio and Aries, which are roots. They're shorashim, they're called. They are roots that from that, the other constellations also get a lot of their negativity from there because it's the fire and the ice. Incidentally, we know Scorpio from the point of view of the elements. Yes, it's a water sign, but every sign also has sub-elements according to the Kabbalah. And Scorpio is the fire of the water signs, okay? Because there are three elements to each sign, okay? Like Gemini is the air of the air. So Scorpio is the fire of the water, okay? And that's why, because Scorpio has that. It has ice, we know, and it has fire, and it has real fire. So we've explained that in our other videos, why there's so much fire in Scorpio, because it has the light of wisdom, but it also has the cold within. But we have to talk about this idea of laziness. What is it talking about? Are Scorpios lazy? You know what? They can be. They can be. And I don't want to put the men down, but it might be more so by the men. Danger of that issue might be there, okay? What does it mean? It means if you're a good Scorpio, you should be able to overcome this level of negativity. What is laziness? Laziness actually comes from comfort. When we feel comfort in a certain area, so we sort of, there's part of us that feels, I'm okay. I don't need to do anything about this. I'm comfortable. Now, the extreme of that would be in the constellation of Taurus. Taurus can be suffering, absolute, in a state of suffering, difficulty, whatever. And they're so stubborn, they won't change because they still feel light. They still feel light, even in a horrible situation. So, the comfort is almost like a curse when it works against us, okay? So we can feel comfortable in a bad situation, or feel comfortable when we feel we're in control, or feel comfortable even, as I said, when we're not in a good situation, but we still feel kind of energy in that situation. So when a Scorpio is in that place, and it can fall into that place, because remember, the light of wisdom is very strong. And we can feel light when the truth of the matter is we need to change. We need to change our, modus operandi. We need to change our method of operation. But it can cause us to fall into negativity. Again, why? Because we know Scorpio is very smart. And sometimes too smart for their own good. We have to be aware of it. The manipulation factor, okay? Because it's comfortable for Scorpio. It's like, it's such an amazing thing. It comes naturally. Because of the other qualities of Scorpio, manipulation comes naturally. You can manipulate. Unfortunately, the easy path in manipulation is to manipulate for the sake of myself, desire for myself, instead of manipulating for the sake to help others. Now, there is such a thing. Yes, why are you given that power? Again, the weakness, remember, weakness is strength, strength is the weakness. So, the weakness, if the weakness is manipulating for myself, the strength is to help others with my manipulation, help my children with manipulation. Yes, manipulate them to help them do what they need to do, what's good for them. You call it manipulation, or you can call it just being smart. If you can use it to help other people, if you're a woman, you know how to manipulate your husband. Don't manipulate it for your own benefit, personal benefit. Help him with it. Look how you can help him with your positive manipulation. There is such a thing. Just like we talked about positive jealousy, the jealousy of the scribes, not jealousy for me, but jealousy to, they can do it, I can do it. I just need to put in the effort. Well, it's the same idea. Using the negative side, being a hacker, or using it to prevent hacking, right? Again, we can use always the characteristic that we've been given. It's not negative or positive until we act on it and use it how we use it in a negative or positive way. It's energy in potential to be used. And so that can cause, this additional energy can cause a Scorpio to be lazy and to not do that, spiritual work, which will bring them the true benefit of the light, to connect them with the light and to remove the coldness. Because it is this coldness that is the disconnect. Okay, we know that, and we've discussed that in other areas. So what does he mean? When a person is negative, they will steal even the snow in hell. I laugh whenever I hear that. That's the nature of because the nature of a negative person, even you present light to him, as long as he's in that place where he didn't make the decision. No, I don't want that. I want good. I want light. I don't want only what I want in a selfish way. There has to be an active decision being made that I want the light. This is what I choose. I choose light. Now, how do I get there? Okay? I have to put the ego down. I have to put the stubbornness down. And I have to be willing to learn, to open up, and so on, to see what there is for me. How do I change? How do I transform this? How do I transform my weakness into a strength? Can be done. That's not necessarily that difficult. But the difficult is overcoming the stubbornness and the laziness. And, I know best. Well, that's unfortunate when we're thinking that way. If we think that way, well, not a lot can help. All the spirituality in the world will not be able to help one when we have pride or the ego that says, listen, I know, and that's it. And we're closed to, that new light that really wants to come in. I mean, if you're listening to this video, why are you hearing this? There's a reason for everything. And, maybe you want to join me in the crash course. That could be a reason, right? And so, but this is the thing. So we have an opportunity to use that. And remember, Scorpio, because of the coldness, has a great vessel to draw in positivity, to draw in light, to elevate, to use all of those characteristics for the sake of benefit of others' light, which is ultimately the greater good of ourselves. That's what I have for you. Be blessed, guys. And again, those of you who don't know about the crash course, want to take part, go to rabbieabe.com. There's a link there. There's a button. Go to registration link. It's there, rabbieabe.com. And I hope to see you over there or very soon in the next video. All the best. Be blessed.